Hi English 1301 students, it's Dr. Murray. I wanted to make you a video in which I talk about your essay that is a summary and response of the film Mr. Death, The Rise and Fall of Fred A. Leukter Jr. So, this video is going to focus on the summary section. Let's start first with the assignment sheet for the essay. I posted it in Canvas. So if you go in Canvas to the home page, under syllabus, under readings, etc., you will see essay assignment sheets, etc., and you'll see the assignment sheet for this essay in there, okay? Click on that, read the assignment sheet carefully. This essay is in two distinct labeled sections, summary and response. So we're going to start with the summary, and this video is going to be in particular about the summary. Technically, it's one essay, but there's a way in which it's a little like writing two different essays because there are going to be some rules or guidelines that are going to be a little different between the two of them. For instance, the summary, you're going to try to be objective, okay? What I mean by objective is no opinion from you. No, I think this about Fred Leukter, I think that about Fred Leukter. In fact, you shouldn't really mention the pronoun I or me in the essay. The response section is different. In the response section, you will have your opinions, but the summary is just what the movie is about. Okay, so first things, read the assignment sheet. I would also say under the assignment sheet in Canvas, you'll see a section called Helpful Writing Links. And the second link in there says Purdue OWL MLA General Format. So Purdue OWL refers to the Purdue University Online Writing Lab. That's what OWL stands for. And then if you click on that link at the Purdue Online Writing Lab, it will explain the rules of MLA, meaning Modern Language Association, formatting. This includes what font you use, which is Times New Roman. This includes the size of the font, that your paper is double spaced, how big your margins are, what information goes on your paper, etc., etc. Okay, so read what it says about MLA general formatting rules carefully and follow them in your paper. Now, if you have Microsoft Word, sometimes you can just, when you're opening a Word document, you can just find something that says MLA format. But you want to make sure and double check that it fits the rules as described at Purdue OWL, even if you think you clicked on the right thing. You saying I clicked on the right thing will not account for your grade. Your grade is whether or not it matches what it says at Purdue OWL. So even if you click on MLA general formatting on your Word document, make sure that it's in sync with what Purdue OWL says about the rules, okay? As far as the structure of your summary, here's what I would advise, okay? I think the film is kind of broken up into three sections. And it's kind of convenient that way. I think the three are basically beginning, middle, and end. And here's how I would break them up. I think about the first third of the film is about Fred Leukter's life, personal life, and career manufacturing or repairing execution equipment. We find out about his wife, we find out about his profession, we find out about his habits, and those kinds of things in the first third of the film, roughly. We know that part has come to an end because the screen goes black, and then in words on the screen it will say something about the Ernst Zundel trial. So that signals that we're getting into a new part of the movie. I've said in class that I think the movie really is about Fred Leukter's claims about the Holocaust. So it doesn't mean what comes in the first section of the movie is not important. It's just that I think it probably is more about acquainting us with Fred Leuchter, whereas the subject matter that the movie is most concerned with, I think, is his involvement in the Zundel trial and his involvement with neo-Nazi groups, white supremacist groups, the writing of the Leuchter report, and then the aftermath. Okay, so part one is kind of about his life and profession. Part two, not part two, but the middle section of the film is about him getting involved in those things, and then the last third of the film is about the aftermath. You could say the chicken's coming home to roost. Fred made these choices about getting involved in neo-Nazi conferences, white supremacist rallies, all this kind of stuff. And people decided, hey, it's a free country. I can hire whoever I want. Maybe I don't want to hire a Nazi to fix our electric chair. So, now, the subtitle of the film is The Rise and Fall of Fred A. Leuchter Jr. I don't think the rise is the first third of the movie. I think the rise is the middle third of the movie, because I think the sense in which Fred rises is that he starts to become a known person. He starts to, he publishes the Leuchter report. There's press for the Zundel trial. He makes his claims about the Holocaust. People are writing about him. Errol Morris says he found out about Fred Leuchter by reading the New York Times. So that is the quote-unquote rise. I would say it's more of a rise in the sense of being well known than it is like a moral rise. I think it might be described differently if you were talking about the morality of it. The fall is the fact that eventually the public turns on him. Probably not the people at the neo-Nazi conferences or the white supremacist conferences. There are many people who are part of those groups who think he's a hero, probably to this day. But I think the larger part of the public who know about him, don't view him that way. They're the people that he's complaining about at the end of the movie who, aren't hiring him anymore or are criticizing him. So, 3 parts of the film. So your essay, your summary section of your essay is going to be about 2 double-spaced pages. It can go a little over, but it shouldn't go, it shouldn't be more than 2.5. That's if it is, you're writing too much. And I don't want a long summary. I want a fairly concise summary. You're gonna have to leave some of the movie out, so it means that you have to make some decisions about what's most important. So you're gonna have an introduction, an introductory paragraph. I would suggest having 3 body paragraphs, because that would fit with sort of beginning, middle, and end, and then a conclusion. So a 5-paragraph essay for the summary of your paper. So let's talk about what you do in the introduction. Think about your reader. Your reader doesn't know this film. So you need to state the title of the film, the full title, at some point early in the essay. Early in the introduction. You need to name some of the significant people. Certainly Fred Leuchter. I would say Ernst Zundel is, would have to get mentioned in there. And, you have to give something of an overview. You also want to acknowledge that you're not just narrating or you're not just summarizing the events, you're summarizing the film. Therefore, you need to, besides naming the film, you need to talk about that it was directed by Errol Morris. You should talk about what genre it is. It's a documentary, which means, true, not fiction. It came out in the year 1999. So you want to acquaint the reader generally with what it's about and give important background information like the things I've mentioned. And you want it to lead smoothly into a thesis statement that ends that paragraph. And my suggestion is, you know, if you organize it the way I'm talking about, you know, one body paragraph for the first third of the film, one for the middle, and one for the last third of the film, roughly, you know, then your thesis could reflect that. The film begins by acquainting us with this. It transitions into a discussion of this. The film concludes like this. If you have sentences like that that sum up what each part is about, it'll be a very clear thesis that will also sort of reflect the structure of the essay. Okay, and I think a paragraph, you know, I think you never want a body paragraph in a serious essay that's just about never, that's shorter than 5 sentences. I would say the range is probably 5 to 10, right? 10, if you have 10 sentences in a paragraph, it could be that it's getting to be a long paragraph. Of course, it depends on how long the sentences are. But I would say, you know, 6 to 9, 5 to 10, 7 to 8, you know, something in that zone. There's no formula. But you want it to be well developed, provide the important information. Okay. Then you want topic sentences for each body paragraph. A topic sentence is a sentence that announces the focus of the paragraph. So if you already in your thesis are acknowledging the sort of beginning, middle, and end of the film, then, you know, what you say about the beginning in your thesis statement is going to be similar to what the topic sentence is for the first body paragraph. A topic sentence announces what a paragraph's about, but it should also connect in some way back to your thesis statement. And then in a succinct, you know, whatever 6, 7, 8 sentence paragraph, tell me what the beginning part of the film is about. Okay? I don't think you need a lot of quotes in the summary part of your essay. I think you want to more generally describe what happens in the film. Then do that for the middle. You know, start with a topic sentence that announces what, you know, the middle part of the film is about. Get into some specifics, but you also need to be a little bit general in that you can't tell us all the details. So what details, you know, are crucial? You need to think about that a little bit. And then do the same for the last third of the film, okay? Topic sentence and a discussion of the sort of content of the last third of the film. That's general, probably doesn't contain much in the way of quoted material, but maybe has some details that will give the reader a specific sense of what's discussed. Then you get to your conclusion for this section, and you know, normally in a conclusion what you do is you reflect on the significance of what you've talked about. However, that would include usually some kind of opinion, and since you're not going to talk about your opinions in this essay, you don't want to do that exactly. What you can do instead of that is tell us what kinds of questions or issues the film raises or touches on. Don't share your opinions about what the answers to those questions are or what your opinions about those issues are, but just say the film raises these questions, and that way you're maintaining some sort of objectivity. And again, sometimes I get students that have very brief conclusions of 1 or 2 sentences. You want a little bit of length to your conclusion, but in the summary, your conclusion might be a little shorter than, let's say, your conclusion in the response section, which I'm going to encourage that you make the conclusion in your response section very well developed, because that's where you're going to really reflect on what the significance of all of this stuff is. But that's in the response section. So I'm about at the end of this video. Don't worry right now as you're writing the summary about works cited and all that stuff. We'll get to that. I just want you to write a draft of a summary of this essay. I hope my explanation helps and is clear. Read the assignment sheet carefully. The whole assignment sheet, which is for the full essay. But right now we're just working on the summary. I hope that helps, and I'll see you guys soon.